So obviously half the viewers right now are like, what? That's testicle tanning? That's crazy. But my view is, okay, testosterone levels crash and nobody says anything about it. That's crazy. So why is it crazy to seek solutions?
It's not crazy to seek solutions. And I think I was recently exposed to a term called bromeopathy. And I think there's a lot of people out there right now that don't trust the mainstream information.
Good morning.
Good morning. Balls are weird.
You know, I always learn things from you, which is why I quote you every day on my show. But you said I figured it out. Tucker Carlson believes tanning your testicles with infrared light, commonly used as a therapy at most bougie salons, will make you a manlier man. Where have all the cowboys gone? To Salon Scrote for a ball bag rejuvenation, apparently. See, I didn't know there until there was a Salon Scrote. I don't know where it is.
It's in Hillcrest in San Diego.
No, it's in Paula Cole. Call your office. That's where all the cowboys are going. Hello, Cafe Scrote. May we take your order? Okay. We can't see. Chris thinks, because I would prefer to just laugh, but Chris thinks there's something darker. Right. Because you were saying gayer than the volleyball scene in Top Gun, and that's gay, Allison. I mean.
Yes. Yeah. And we can say that here in California.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. So so much I have to talk to you about. I don't even know where to start. But let's talk. I was bowlerting the best I could on MSNBC Saturday night. We're all trying to. The fact that even are talking about Hunter Biden's laptop, which is like the new Hillary's emails. There is no there. It is. But the minute there's a huge story like Jared Kushner or Don Jr. trying to overthrow the United States government, here comes Hunter's laptop again. But you just tweeted, I am shocked, I tell you, about the recent news that Kush was paid off for U.S. intel. Shocked. I mean, who could have seen this coming? You said, I told you, the traitors to the crown intel Kush gave them. We should also be looking into how and why Qatar bailed out 666 Fifth Avenue. I mean, the degree to which the mainstream media is failing us, Allison, I don't know what to say anymore. But talk to us about your thoughts about Jared Kushner, because someone else tweeted Jared Kushner did not have top secret clearance. Who gave him the info to sell to the Saudis? The new $2 billion question.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been talking about this since 2018 or early 2018. I know a lot of us were on top of this when we found out that, Jared went to Riyadh and brought MBS, good old Mohammed Bonesaw, a bunch of intelligence about his, MBS's brother, I guess, who wanted to, steal the crown, traitors to the crown. And then, a week after Jared's visit, they find everybody and round them up and arrest them. And it was kind of obvious back then, almost 4 years ago, next month, that he had given U.S. intelligence on traitors to the crown to MBS so that they could be arrested or rounded up. And we were like, what's he going to get out of this? And we know about the Qatar blockade. We have a giant base in Qatar. They're a huge ally. And there was just this weird kind of lobbying against Qatar on behalf of the Saudis. And here we are now, 6 months after Kush leaves the White House, gets $2 billion in an investment fund that the Saudi fund board members said, don't do this.
Right.
And my favorite part, Stephanie, is that the board was like, look, there's 9, 10, 11 reasons not to do this, but most of all, it's the bad optics. And when the Saudi crown prince who carved up a Western journalist and murdered him says that hanging out with you is bad optics, that's, there's a problem.
Yeah. And that, I think I said this Saturday that they're like on WhatsApp together, like friggin' teenage girls. What you thinking about? No, you hang up first. I mean, they're just, again, Allison, I don't know what we do about the mainstream media, but how is Hunter Biden's laptop? He's not in the government. He's never been in the government. There's no evidence he did anything wrong yet. There's no evidence Joe Biden knew anything about it, and this Kushner story is this not illegal to give intelligence to a foreign government? I don't even, where are the lines on all this? Clearly, as you say, can we not prove this was to cover up a Bonesaw murder? I guess not, but okay. I just don't understand the whole concept and that this is not a bigger story.
No, it is scary. And I think a lot of the Hunter Biden spin is because, the FBI was and probably still is investigating the Hunter Biden laptop, but as an op, as a foreign op with Rudy Giuliani. And, they stole the laptop, hacked into Hunter Biden's emails, put some authentic and then some falsified emails on that laptop, and then dropped it off in Delaware at a guy's Mac shop. And then, trying to figure out, what is this Hunter Biden's laptop thing? It was an op. It was an intelligence op, and it's being investigated in the Southern District of New York. And I think that this whole Barr appointment from this guy in Delaware trying to, this U.S. attorney from Delaware trying to investigate Hunter Biden's laptop is just a political cover for the actual story that the mainstream media doesn't seem to want to talk about.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the big one that because you're the Steffi whisperer. You're here to talk me down off my Veruca Salt ledge about Merrick Garland and what's happening at the DOJ. But you always make such great points on Twitter. You said, to anyone who argues the DOJ isn't investigating Donald, I like to point out that the subpoenas recently reviewed by the media do not say turn over all information on anyone who impeded or attempted to impede the electoral count except people named Donald Trump. You said the subpoenas also do not say turn over everything on anyone promoting false slates of electors except people named Donald Trump. And you point out further, DOJ is 3 for 3 in 1-6 jury trials as Dustin Thompson is found guilty on all 6 counts, including obstructing the official proceeding. So talk to us about where you are and why in the whole January 6th picture.
Well, they're working their way up. First of all, I totally get people, and myself included, being frustrated at the pace, the clip of the investigation, and that we aren't hearing anything. Because when the Mueller investigation was going on, we would hear about subpoenas and, all that, all sorts of stuff from the Mueller probe, and we know how the Mueller probe turned out. But so I understand people kind of frustrated with the slow pace. But people, I think, are frustrated with the wrong folks. It makes no sense to me to be upset with Merrick Garland when Merrick Garland is not running the 1-6 investigation. It's Matthew Graves out of the DC U.S. Attorney's Office. He's the U.S. Attorney there. He didn't get there until November because people like Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz were slowing up the confirmation processes. And so now he's there, and within a week, he indicts Bannon, and we've got all this stuff going on in DC, building up a case from the bottom up, going to the Oath Keepers now. Enrique Tarrio, we're expecting more charges against the Proud Boys, probably maybe seditious conspiracy as well. And they've mentioned Trump with regards to the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys' violent brute force attack on the Capitol. At least 6 times in court filings, they've tied that violence to Donald Trump directly by name. So they're building a case, but it is Matthew Graves that's doing that. And I just kind of want to reiterate how the Department of Justice works. It's Graves is running the investigation with his hundreds and hundreds of line prosecutors out of the DC U.S. Attorney's Office. And then when he has charges, he goes over to Merrick Garland's office and says, calls him up and said, hey, I've got these charges. Just kind of letting you know. And Garland could step in and say, no, we're not going to file these charges, but he's not going to do that. And he's testified under oath that he's not going to do that. He's going to take the recommendation of Matthew Graves and his other U.S. attorneys that are investigating whatever crimes that they're in charge of investigating jurisdictionally. So people should be focused on Matthew Graves. And I got to tell you, he shocked me, Steph. You know me, I'm all like supporting the institutions. But I thought they were going to stick to obstructing an official proceeding and that they wouldn't charge seditious conspiracy because they never have. It hasn't been charged in 40 years. I didn't think the DOJ kind of had the tanned SACS to come out and come with bigger charges. But it was Matthew Graves who was able to button up the Oath Keepers' seditious conspiracy charges, despite Barr appointee Mike Sherwin's attempts to derail it, and button it up and charge seditious conspiracy. So I think that Matthew Graves has the testicular fortitude to make these tough decisions and to talk Garland into it. Otherwise, if Garland were somehow curtailing this investigation, we would see resignations. We would see resignations and protests, just like we saw in Bragg's office with Pomerantz and Dunn.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Proud Boys. This is a key member of the Proud Boys taking a plea deal in exchange for providing more information about the lead up to January 6th. They're saying that's a game changer for investigators. Barb McQuaid, our friend, your friend and mine, said Donahue's plea is a significant development in the case against the Proud Boys defendants. His agreement to cooperate means that any trial against other Proud Boy members will include his testimony, which will be important evidence for the prosecution. His cooperation could signal his ability to provide information up the chain. That's what we're looking for. To organizers and leaders who planned the attack. We're learning that the attack on the Capitol was not a spontaneous event for all participants, but instead was planned by at least two groups, Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Investigators will want to know how high up that planning and coordination went. So where are you on the whole January 6th committee making a criminal referral or not?
I don't think it matters. And in fact, it's probably unwise at this juncture. Because I think, leaving the DOJ as completely independent in these cases gives them stronger cases. And Donald Trump's number one complaint against this committee and his only defense is that this committee is going outside of their legislative scope and acting like criminal prosecutors. And there are like a team of 40 criminal prosecutors working behind the scenes on January 6th. And so that's his only defense. And if you make a criminal referral and there are indictments that follow, even though they might not have anything to do with each other, Donald Trump's defense will be the committee, the January 6th Legislative Committee, acted outside of its powers and criminally investigated me. He's making the same complaints with the New York Attorney General's office as with regards to the Bragg case, the Manhattan DA's case. And it's a crap defense, but it's a defense nonetheless. So why hand him an additional defense when you could just not?
Your superhero and mine, Glenn Kushner, our shared superhero. But what was it he said on my show Friday that just stuck with me about, we have to stop being afraid to do the right thing because it will make the wrong people mad. I mean, so, I'm like, for by any means necessary, all of the above, but I do get it. I mean, Jill Weinbank's our friend, just said it yesterday. Joyce Vance has said the same thing about it's, I get that it has no practical effect on whether the DOJ prosecutes or not. What I'm hoping at this, as Zoe Lofgren said, that these public trials are going to be, because look how explosive just these dribs and drabs are. When we get the whole picture and all of the evidence, even that we haven't seen yet, and it's all televised, that I'm just hoping the DOJ will have no choice, and that, like you say, it may or may not matter whether there's an actual criminal referral. Everything will be out there. Hopefully there'll be enough public pressure, right?
Yeah, and I agree. And I think, that's the whole purpose of this committee, is to hold those public hearings, present the case to the American people, and then make legislative recommendations on how to shore up laws like the Electoral Count Act to make them more clear. I don't know how we can make it more clear.
Yeah.
And that's another defense they're using. Oh, well, if the Electoral Count Act were clear, we wouldn't have to amend it. But that's a terrible and stupid defense as well. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't do the right thing. Now, if the entire DOJ investigation hinged on whether or not a criminal referral were made by the committee, I would say make the criminal referral. But the Department of Justice is already investigating the leaders of the coup. They don't need the criminal referral to do that.
Yeah.
So I say, if you don't need it, don't do it. But like, Glenn's right. If we were requiring it, because there was a while there, Steph, because it was taking so long, that I was like, maybe the Department of Justice is waiting for a referral to act so that they can use that as a reason for why they started investigating in the first place. But now we know that that's not the case. They're doing it on their own. They're investigating on their own, and they don't need the referral. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. It would be like, do we go through an impeachment proceeding on Justice Clarence Thomas? While it may be the House's duty to do that, it would never make it past the Senate, and it would detract from whatever public hearings we're about to get in the January 6th case. So you got to kind of weigh what, sure, it's the right thing, but is it in the big picture, is it the right thing? Are you detracting from something else? Are you handing
Maybe we could substitute something more immature, like drunk dialing Ginny Thomas every morning at 7:30, like she did Anita Hill. Just to heckle her.
Little things. Yeah.
Would satisfy my aim. See, this is why she's here, because I'm a bit of a hothead. I'm obviously bad cop, and AG is good cop. That's why I'm Melissa McCarthy, and you are Sandra Bullock. And we have joined our cinematic universes, mswmedia.com, sexyliberal.com, all your podcasting superheroes. But yeah,
and both sides, both of those positions are required in the national discourse.
That's right.
So I don't try to take that away from anybody.
I'm hot-headed. I'm hot-headed bad cop, and you're a good cop.
Yeah,
Okay.
and B.
All right.
We need those. We need that.
You're like Lethal Weapon over here.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which one of us is getting too old for this?
Exactly.
Both of us.
Ow.